She's worked in the technology arena for over 15 years with 7 years in cybersecurity. She's worked for the FCC, Symantec, Citrix, and now Fidelity. Please welcome from the world of cybersecurity, Priya Gandhi.
So one day, a 60-year-old man walks into Target and says, "I demand to see the manager." Target, he said, had offended him because they sent him some baby diapers and baby food coupons. The manager came out, they apologized, and they parted ways. A few months later, they ran into each other again. And this time, the man apologized to the manager. He said, "Target knew before I did that my teenage daughter was pregnant." Artificial intelligence is all around us, right? From self-driving cars to self-parking cars to facial recognition software on Facebook, right? To Siri, to Alexa, to Google Home. All those technologies use some form of artificial intelligence or machine learning. Most of those implementations, however, have been benign, have been primarily focused on driving user behavior, trying to understand what you would like and predict what you might buy. Revenue-driven, majority. However, what's happened now is with access to big data volumes, with Hadoop and everything else coming into picture, as well as multi-layered processing, right? Artificial intelligence now can be used in areas that were far beyond human possibilities. It's being used as a weapon. It's being used to create false news. It's being used to create rumors, to spread and to play with people's minds so that it's impossible for you to detect what's real and what's false. I'll give you a few examples. We all should remember the 2016 elections, right? So without going into that, prior to that, there was a video that went viral. It was a presidential address given by Obama, and it was condemning the horrific acts that happened in Orlando due to the shooting that happened there. The reason why that video went viral was not because of the message. It was because it was a fake video. The actual video was actually created in a hotel room. It was taken in a hotel room. The one that was sent to the media made it look as if Obama was actually in the White House when he gave that message, right? And it wasn't a simple editing of just the background. The entire visual of Obama giving that message was recreated by a technology created by the University of Washington called lip syncing. What that technology does is essentially takes the voice recording and fabricates a net new video recording of a person you wanted to speak. So most people think, okay, that's not that bad. That's not fake news. He actually said it, right? And now you're just creating a video for that speech. That also was broken in 2016 with the elections. What happened in 2016, there was a company called Adobe Max. They introduced their first digital voice technology. What they were able to do with that was essentially take a recording of any person's voice, feed it to an application, and not by editing the sound waves, but by simply typing words on a keyboard, they were able to create a digital voice. That voice was able to understand how you breathe, how you speak, how you pronounce things, what's your accent. And within a minute, it can create your digital voice. And all it needs is a 1-minute recording of anybody's voice. With that technology, along with lip syncing, you can essentially recreate a video, and you can recreate what you want to say. Combined with that, it's impossible for a human mind to detect what's real and what's false. Artificial intelligence is now being used as a weapon. It's being used to play with people's minds. It's being used to make you believe things that may or may not be true. It's being used to make private companies and political organizations make people behave in things that are profitable to them. So I hope I haven't scared you, and I hope you're not going to go back home and throw Siri out and throw Alexa out of your home. That's not the intention. Right? There are a lot of good implementations of artificial intelligence. It's also used, oops, I was supposed to click there. Well, I forgot. It's also used to analyze fake news. It goes through analysis and then tries to segregate what is real, what's not. It's also used in medical sciences to understand and look at brain waves and heartbeats to understand and predict if a child will ever have a tumor until the day he dies. for research and for creating the right kind of news, researchers and geologists across the world are using this to understand the greenhouse effect, understand how the plate movements are happening, to predict the next tsunami, right? Those kind of news are important, and those kind of news need to be spread in the right fashion. Technology has never been neutral. Technology in the right hands can save the world. Technology in the wrong hands can destroy it. Like Brian, you mentioned, right? We can be the cause, and we can be the solution. It's essentially, we can't go back and say, oh, we're not going to work on artificial intelligence. Let's try to put the genie back in the bottle. Not going to happen. It's up to each one of us as individuals, as future leaders, to decide what wishes we want the genie to complete. It's up to us. Thank you, guys.
Great. Now I'm worried that the Hurricanes are going to replace me with a shell script. Questions for Priya Gandhi about, well, we'll go right up front. I believe we have an expert in the field here. Ma'am, what is your question?
Why would Target know before the man that his daughter was pregnant?
So how did Target know that? How were they able to mine that data to find out that the man's daughter was pregnant?
So what they use is intelligence. So when you Google, his daughter was living at home. So when you Google something on the internet, and when you're looking up, baby stuff on Target or on any website, it catches that information and it puts it on a database. And that database, essentially, you run analysis against that database to say, okay, why is this person looking at this? And then the machine learning takes care of it and then says, okay, I need to go ahead and start sending you some baby coupons, because obviously you're looking at baby pictures, or you're looking at something to do with babies. Okay.
That was a great question. Give me some daps here. Boom. Awesome. All right, next question back here to your right.
Hi, so I've heard about some kinds of attacks on consumers, such as like calling like computerized phone calls that call us and record our voices so they can create those kinds of fake voices. So how can consumers take preventative, like what preventative measures can consumers take to prevent all this?
Use your mind, use your common sense. The technology is so advanced that there is no application yet that's being developed that's available for a user or a consumer in the market that can detect what's real and what's not. Until that happens, you have, as you said, if it's too good to be true, it is false. So that's where we are right now.
All right, next question from the back of the room here.
Hi, you mentioned about Alexa. Do you see any kind of systems that Amazon is putting in place to prevent? So right now, Alexa is a really open platform. Like anyone can go and develop whatever kind of program they want to run on Alexa, which is a little scary because the dots are getting really small, and someone could set one in a room and have it record. I'm not fully aware of the technology you just explained, but it could easily record something for a minute. Are these companies doing anything to kind of prevent that sort of thing from happening?
So Amazon and Google are actually a little ahead of the others because they realize that, right? So Google started this with when you had, when you used to call into Google, they had started recording people's voices way back when we even realized, before we realized they were recording voices. And that's how they've come up with the Google duplex technology, right, using that technology. Google and Amazon are far better. They realize the risk. So you look at the good side and the bad side. They realize the risk, and they are putting measures on locking those systems down so that you can get tricked into that. On the flip side, though, there is a huge need. Alexa and Google Home are very popular and a very profitable enterprise for these organizations. So one side of the arm believes that, yes, let's push it to market and we'd worry about security later on. But now, because all the breaches that are happening and how advanced this technology is becoming, they're realizing that, okay, you need to slow the pace of pushing this out to the consumer, because you are actually going to impact their lives. But those initiatives are underway, but it's always a balance between money and security.
Indeed. Final question right here in front of you.
So when you were saying about technology, there's a Chinese company that I heard about that is also making digital images of basically like Obama or someone else that basically recreates them, and they're not actually there. It's actually someone completely different.
Right.
But it basically mimics their entire appearance. And then with voice technology, you can basically recreate the president in any fashion. So when you're talking about a human being using like just common sense or mind, this is a battle with technology, and I think only technology can fight technology in this case, because if you see this on like a stream from a history, how would you perceive it differently? Without this proper equipment, I don't think there could be a way. So I want to ask, can the population, and this is like all around the country, not just here, can solve this issue by what can I do? What steps can I actually do if I see a video of the president that could look like that he's actually speaking?
So it's a two-part answer that I have for you. As far as the last question, what can you do, is stop spreading it. Validate it against sources that you know are true. Validate it against websites that can and do share good and accurate ethical information. The second piece to that is all these companies, so CNN, BBC, all these companies are investing a lot in scanning through all the fake news sites. So there is a framework out there that allows companies to scan all these content generation companies like social media sites and everything else that are essentially the push for all these fake news articles, to scan through to identify what's real and what's not. And some of these websites are also calling them as fake. So then on CNN, say if you said, you hear something about the president saying something or, being somewhere, CNN will actually start saying that, okay, this is fake because we've gone through the analysis and we've come back. So there are sites and there are news medias that are reputable that are actually investing in that because they do realize that, again, just a metric out there, over 60% of the news that's in the media is fake. So, so they do invest in that.
Isn't that a dilemma then? It's like, now I have to put my trust in a company that could change over time, that could change their tactics over time. So I'm putting my faith in somebody else.
Yes. That is absolutely, and that's the two-edged sword with technology, and especially with artificial intelligence.
That's why we're here in the early days, and that's why we're getting advice from experts like Priya Gandhi.